Some people believe in love at first sight. I don't know if I do exactly. I mean, I'm the ultimate hopeless romantic, but that might be a bit of an exaggeration. I do believe in an instant feeling, though. The recognition of something in a person. The feeling that your minds share a connection. A spark, I guess you could say. That might sound sort of cliche, but there's still truth in it. And this particular compatibility, I believe, depends largely on the ages of the two souls. There are old souls and new souls. And the energy of these old souls has been cycling around the world in various forms for quite a while, perhaps since the beginning of time, while these new souls have found form more recently. It follows that the old souls have a deeper wisdom of experience, not that they're smarter in an intellectual sense, but that they have an inherent understanding of something which they cannot even fully describe, of life in every sense, that can only be gained from the additional cycles they have run through the spiritual realm. It's impossible for an old soul and a new soul to experience a true connection, because regardless of their earthly ages, they're set apart by eternity's clock. That was perhaps a bit of a sidetrack, but the point is that this feeling existed between us, a complete understanding, almost like we could look at each other and know what the other person was thinking. That might sound scary, to completely share yourself with someone else, but it wasn't at the time. When you've been lonely for as long as you can remember, it's the most comforting thing in the world to give part of your heart away for safekeeping. It took a lot of building up to get to that point. It started with little things, the songs we both knew, the little smile I began to recognize was just for me when he looked into my eyes. And this doesn't happen all at once. Everything has to come together. Trust, the realization of love, and the confidence to hope for perfection. That everything is finally in its right place. I'll admit that I'm somewhat preoccupied with aesthetics, attempting to construct every possible aspect of my life to add beauty to a world that can seem so ugly. I remember once we stood in front of a mirror, and I looked at the two of us together, thinking that if I was to snap a still shot at the exact moment, it would represent all that it means to be alive. Then something went wrong. The individual details aren't important, and I don't care to relive them. The tears of this complicated world, just placing the happiness that seemed so easy at one point just out of our reach. He left without an explanation or an apology. I still don't understand and probably never will. Can you make that noise stop? It's driving me crazy, and I don't have the time or energy to go crazy anymore. I was left alone and numb. You think it's something incredibly violent and angry to have your heart torn apart, but it didn't feel like that for me. I felt the cutting, the loss, and the falling, the destruction of all the beauty so carefully placed, and I felt like I was dying. Dying passively. Some sort of terminal illness that slowly transformed my life into something uncontrollable while I laid in bed, movement seeming impossible. I was sad and frustrated that I could do nothing to change the situation. I held all the same elements, but now my hands were clumsy and useless, and I could no longer put them in the right places. Eventually, I guess I gave up trying to recreate the perfection. I can never make myself forget, so I just quietly cover it all up and keep going. This is still life, but it no longer feels as much like living.